So we've seen a lot of the Ray and Kendra relationship come up and so on, but does she at any point during the season start to think about Carter again and so on, or has she kind of left them behind and so on?
No, I don't think that she's left him behind. I think that that's something that's ever present in her mind, but also something she's trying to move forward from, seeing as how she thinks that she's not going to ever see him again in this lifetime. So wouldn't you eventually move on to, or try to?
What do you think of her progress towards controlling her bloodlust and working with Sarah? How do you envision that kind of working out, and where do you think your character's going to evolve from that?
I don't think, thank you. I'm not sure that her thing was quite a bloodlust, it was more of just like a rage. When Carter first tried to help her emerge, he kept saying, think about the rage, and that was kind of counterintuitive for her. It's not really how she functions, so I think as soon as she's able to kind of forgive herself for what happened and start to move on, I think that rage aspect is going to go away and she'll be more strong and proud of herself.
Kendra was trying to find herself, and of course it turns out she's a superhero. What advice would you have for young people who are just now graduating and trying to find themselves?
I guess I would say be curious and allow yourself to explore. If you don't figure it out the first time, if you try something and it doesn't work out, or it's not the right thing and you feel that's okay. Like, I think people try a lot of different things before they figure out exactly what they're supposed to be.
I want to ask you about your singing talents. Are we going to be able to hear you sing at all on the show, or do any type of...
Not this season, unfortunately, but I keep like crossing my fingers for it. I think it'd be really fun, especially since you time travel. I love jazz music, so I keep saying like, what if we went to like 1930s France, like somewhere, and like explore that. It'd be fun. I don't know. We'll see.
So we know that the Hawks reincarnate as different eras. So while Kendra and Ray are playing house in the 1950s, and another version of Carter comes along, is that going to look well for Ray? Or is that going to be maybe a little...
I think that would be a bit tragic for Ray, especially since this is, at that point, it's a very, very new relationship. And I think it might have started a little bit as a rebound for her, but like in the most traumatic way possible, I think she's definitely trying to move forward, but seeing Carter again would really upset all of that, I think.
Speaking of, seeing each other in different lives, and since your character's immortal and has different lives, do you think, she would ever run into herself?
I think that's definitely possible. But as Griff says, we try not to participate in things that we've already participated in. We don't want a black hole or a vortex or whatever. So we'll have to see how that pans out.
So what does Kendra do in the 50s while they're
well, that's kind of the cool thing about her is that she's already lived in the 50s, and she probably will start to remember a lot of that life for her and how to survive in the 50s and what was different then. So she's probably one of the best people to be stuck really in any era. Because eventually she'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this, and I know I did this and I did that, and I know where to go. You know what I mean? So it would be okay for her.
What interaction do you tease about between her and Vandal? Because whenever those two come face to face, something is always happening. So do you tease anything about what's coming up?
I think up until now, Kendra's been just, throwing punches and seeing what happens, not really having the best plans. But every time that she doesn't win, I think she gains more confidence that she has to do better next time, so she trains harder and works harder and tries to make better plans. But I think, Hawkman being killed and her remembering the many times that she's been killed by Savage is going to help her be able to do what she has to do at the end.
Hopefully with a mate, hopefully soon?
Maybe. That would be kind of cool.
The episode on 50 was interesting because most time travel shows don't talk about how terrible it would be if you were not a straight white man traveling every time. So you talk a little bit about going back.
I thought that it was a really brave choice for the writers to do that. I certainly said something to that effect. Like, I think we really should touch on this, especially since it's so relevant now. You know, our social climate in this country. But it was really interesting to play that. I've definitely experienced things like that growing up, so there's something to draw from on that. And I also think that I think it's good for young people to see that this is something that really happened. It's something that does still happen, and there's a right and a wrong way to deal with it. You know what I mean? So if they get to see people that they look up to dealing with these kind of horrible situations in a very heroic way, I think that that's a good thing.